Hey there, it's me Bamdev here. Welcome to my YouTube channel Bachelor and Master English. I've been taking classes on English literature courses from Bachelor and Master levels. Today I'm talking about the Canterbury Tales by Geoffrey Chaucer, the father of English literature. I'm sure you'll accompany me till the end of this video. If you are new to this channel, please like, comment and share this video. Kindly subscribe my channel for more updates on different videos and translations from world literature. Let's begin today's lesson. The Canterbury Tales. Going on pilgrimages in medieval England was a way of combining religion with pleasure. People from many different walks of life would form a group, travel by cart and on foot to a holy shrine, stay there for a while and then go back home together. There was a holiday atmosphere about pilgrimage because for most people it was the only time they could get away from the drudgery of their daily routine. In the Canterbury Tales, a group of pilgrims is on its way to visit one of England's most famous cathedrals in the southern city of Canterbury. It is a varied group representing a good cross-English society of the day. The Canterbury Tales, started sometimes around 1386, is considered Geoffrey Chaucer's masterpiece. Organized as a collection of stories told by a group of travelers on pilgrimage to the shrine of Thomas a Becket in Canterbury, the Canterbury Tales reflects the diversity of 14th century English life. The Canterbury Tales is an unfinished poem of about 17,000 lines, and it was written mostly after 1387. Is widely considered to be one of the most brilliant works in all literature. The General Prologue establishes the characters and sets the scene. A day in April, the group of pilgrims goes from London to Canterbury, and during their journey they tell the stories. 29 characters move between the inn and the shrine, the two places where different classes are likely to mingle. The poem introduces a group of pilgrims who are journeying from London to the shrine of Thomas a Becket. At Canterbury, on their way to Canterbury, the pilgrims stop at the Tabard Inn in Southwark, London. The owner of the inn, Harry Bailey, proposes that they have a storytelling competition. He asks each of the pilgrims to tell 2 stories on their way to Canterbury and another 2 stories on their way back. The best storyteller will be given a free supper on his or her returning to London. The inn host, Bailey, will accompany them, judge their stories and act as guide as well. And the pilgrims agree. The tales follow, each of them preceded by a prologue. Chaucer originally planned that the work should contain 120 tales, 4 for each pilgrim, but at the same time of his death, he had only written 24 and some of them were incomplete. There are 24 tales in all because the work is incomplete. The Canterbury Tales are structured as a series of interlinked stories. Each tale is preceded by a prologue in which the storyteller speaks about himself or herself. The themes of the tales vary from the spiritual to the earthy and humorous. Of each of these characters, the poet draws a striking portrait. It is also a portrait of almost the whole English nation with its social diversities. Let's look at the characters who are the pilgrims in the Canterbury Tales. The pilgrims are described in the General Prologue. Together, they represent a wide cross-section of 14th century English life, although the nobility and the poor are missing, as they would not have taken part in this type of group pilgrimage. The prologue describes them one by one. Chaucer describes their clothes, their habits, and average characteristic of each profession. The narrator is naively noting what he sees or learns about the others in a casual order which occurs to him. The pilgrims are often ill-mannered and quarrelsome and frequently interrupt and criticize each other. The miller, for example, tells a story about an aging carpenter whose young wife is unfaithful to him. The reeve, who is trained carpenter, retaliates with a tale about a miller who is also betrayed by his wife. Many of the tales counterbalance or give another point of view to the ideas presented in a preceding tale. The tales permit open dialogue between people from different levels of society. The Pilgrims' tales include a variety of medieval genres that range from humorous beast fables to the serious homely sermon. Chaucer gives us a collection of individuals who also represent the different social and professional strata of England of his day. These include the fighting class, the knight, the young squire, his son, the yeoman, his servant. Number 2, liberal profession, the physician, man of law, the clerk of Oxford, the poet himself. Number 3, land, the flowman, the miller, the reeve, or the landowner. Trade, the merchant, the shipman. Crafts, number 5, the wife of Bath, the carpenter, the dyer, the weaver, the cook, the carpet maker. Number 6, secular clergy, the parson, the summoner, the canon. Number 7, monastic orders, the monk, the prioress, the head of the religious order in the house, the nun, the friar, pardoner. Only the knight, the poor person, and the plowman are treated without any touch of irony as almost ideal figures. Let's talk about the significance of the Canterbury Tales for the students or the researchers. Chaucer's masterpiece, The Canterbury Tales, is the first real collection of short stories in English literature, though they are in poetry rather than in prose, like the modern short story. But the author is not content with simply writing a series of independent stories. Instead, he assembles at and in a group of characters of all classes and all types who are ready to make their popular pilgrimage from London to Canterbury, a distance of about 65 miles. Horseback travel is slow, and there is plenty of time for storytelling to lighten the tedium. The jolly innkeeper suggests that each person tell 2 stories on the way down and 2 on the return. The best narrator to be given a dinner at the expense of others. The Canterbury Tales, written for the greater part in heroic couplets, about 17,000 lines, is magnificent, unfinished opus. A group of linked tales told by different people was unknown in earlier medieval literature, but Chaucer's work is unique. It is very notable or unique in the sense that it is comprehensive and panoramic picture of its time. It has a well-unified organic structure. Chaucer's humor embarks on a fine tradition of English literature because Chaucer's contribution to the English language is great. He had confidence and pride in his native language. He wrote in the London dialect of the day, which he handled dexterously. There is no, layman-like use of or play of language. Had Chaucer completed his original scheme, there would have been 124 stories altogether. But unfortunately, only 24 were finished. And the modern reader has to determine for himself or herself which one should be the prize winner. Today, we are likely to be more interested in the prologue and the conversations interspersed between the tales than in the stories themselves. But here we have a moving picture of actual people, not a puppet show of fanciful beings. The Canterbury Pilgrims still live and breathe and speak convincingly in their particular manner. Okay, let's see why Chaucer's Canterbury Tales is the masterpiece. The Canterbury Tales, written by Geoffrey Chaucer, is a masterpiece for numerous reasons. The first point is that it is written in English in a period when it was a foregone conclusion that all serious writing had to be done in Latin or French. Chaucer himself was fluent in both these languages as well as in Italian. Secondly, it is a valuable social document as it gives us an insight into a cross-section of 14th century English society. Thirdly, it includes experimentation with rhyme and rhythm patterns that greatly affected the literature that followed. Fourthly, it contains a cast of memorable characters that are brought to life by Chaucer's superb power of characterization. Let's go to the conclusion. For numerous innovations and contributions in English language literature of medieval period, Geoffrey Chaucer is the father of English literature. He is seen as crucial in legitimizing the literature of medieval English when the dominant literature was still French and Latin. It is for the outstanding achievement that Chaucer is generally regarded the father of English language poetry, of Homer to Greek language literature. He is popularly known as the father of English poetry, the father of English fiction, one of the founders of English realism, and the forerunner of English humanism. Overall, Chaucer is the father of English literature. Okay, that's the end of today's discussion. Up to now, you have been listening and watching the lecture on the Canterbury Tales by Geoffrey Chaucer. If you enjoyed it, please give a like to this video. If you have some queries, put your words in the comment box. I wouldn't mind you subscribing the channel for more updates on literature courses for bachelor and master levels, along with the pieces of translated literary works in Nepali for the connoisseurs of world literature. Thank you for your time and thank you very much for your attention.